Okay, we wanted to talk about some winter projects we've got going on. Obviously, we've got the S10 torn apart since we broke the valve at No Mercy. This is something that we're going to fix the head up, being it's a billet aluminum head. We're able to weld up the port and fix the valve up. Everything's fixable. Drew at D&J Precision Machines getting the engine all fixed up, and then we're going to get this thing back in the truck. We're going to leave it on radial tires and plan to go back to lights out in the spring, which was what, February, I believe. So there's not going to be a lot of work for us to do on this until we get the engine back, but probably around Christmas time we'll get the engine back, get the truck back up in operation, and then we'll gear up for next spring and see if we can get our 3-second pass out of this truck that we've been looking for so long. The next project we got going on, this is a 69 Camaro that's brought to us from Texas. This is a Duramax platform that Wagler did the engine build on. It's got a Rossler 4L80 transmission, and this was actually a project that's been in the works for a long time. It went out to Oklahoma and had a bunch of fab work done. The back half was tubbed, put big tires underneath it, a rear end, and then it came to us to get finished up. So when you look at the car, it looks like it's somewhat close to together as far as the engine's mounted, transmission's in it, rear end's in it, tubs are in it. But when we look at it, you can put a ton of hours in a project like this, because we start looking, we can't get the valve covers off with the way the firewall is, so we'll have to move the engine forward about 2 inches just so we can get to all the valve cover bolts and get the injectors in and out with it in, without pulling the engine. And then we have to come up with wiring. It's got a painless wiring kit we got to put in it. We have to figure out a standalone ECU and control for all the power and engine management. We would like to do a Bosch, but we're gonna have to we're kind of at the budgeting stage of this project, so it kind of depends on what the customer wants to spend on how it's all going to turn out. We've talked about doing parallel twin turbos, we've talked about doing a single turbo. He really wants to end up with a 1,000 to 1,200 horsepower, something he can drive on the street, have a fun street car, still go to the track and run a 9-second pass, or low 10-second car. Something to have fun with. It's not necessarily a purpose-built race car, just something to be a weekend toy. But that, just look for stuff in the future. A bunch of little different projects going to come out of this car. I'm sure we'll put a bunch of hours in it as the winter goes on. The next project we've got going on, you've seen Cody cover this truck. It's True Grit. It's a sled pulling truck that Cody's been doing a lot of fab work on. We fabricated the the air-to-water intercooler and a bunch of odds and ends fabrication projects that we're needing to finish up. This engine had already been engine dynoed. It's ready for action. It's kind of been a process that has been a build over the last, I don't know, 2.5 years. And now we're wanting to get the thing finished up this winter for the customer, Brad Hayes, and he's going to go out and see if he can do any good on the sled pulling track. So come on over here. This is our engine mounts, these engine hooks. You saw these on Facebook if you're keeping track of that. These are engine lift brackets that we made. These bolt to the top of the rocker box. You can leave your rockers on and pick a whole engine up out of a truck like this. And we've got 3 different angles, so if you need to tip the engine, you can hook your chain in 3 different hooks. So these are out at, the other batch of these are out at zinc coating. So once these come back from zinc coating, we'll be shipping these. So if you guys have any interest in an engine hoist, or even for head gasket jobs, it's really nice. You can put this on, bolt this to the head, pick the head up. It's a really nice, handy little bracket that we made. Then we've got Lawrence Hickey's truck. This is going to be a truck that we're doing our own video on over the whole process. But this truck got a Enforcer. It's got 300% overs, 14 mil pump, and a big compound setup, basically a 72 over 107, same twin setup and injector size as the quad cab. This truck came to us out of New York, and he really wants a truck that can go to the drag strip and run low 10-second passes and do it reliably. So we pretty much put a recipe together from the quad cab and said, here's something that we know is going to work. And Cody's been working on the twin setup, being it's a 4th gen truck. We had to configure the twins a little bit different than we normally do on our side-by-side. because of how the downpipe and the coolant or the transmission lines and everything runs, but it's really turning out to be a slick truck. So once it leaves here, it's going to go straight to paint, and the whole truck's going to get repainted. It's got some peeling paint on the bumpers, and a couple places where it was debadged, there's some paint flaws, and so the guy wants it perfect when it's all done. We look forward to finishing this project. It's going to be a really, really nice truck when it's all done. So that's a quick overview of what we've got going on and coming up in the next couple weeks. Stay tuned to the channel, and also check out the new merch that we've got. We've got a bunch of some zip-ups, we've got some new hoodies, new hats, beanies. So if you're looking for Christmas gifts or Black Friday sales, stay tuned because we've got that stuff coming right up.